The shark in Jaws and all subsequent editions is always called Bruce. And the reason he was called Bruce is because Stephen named him that after his lawyer, Bruce Raymer.
That's a much maligned shark, and I'm kind of responsible for creating a lot of the bad mouthing about the shark, because the shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
I remember in particular being on our barge watching the first shark test, at which time the shark simply sank to the bottom of Nantucket Sound, and we felt that our careers in motion pictures had gone with it. Frogmen were delegated to recover it and bring it back to the surface. Everything that could go wrong with a shark went wrong with the various sharks, the various types, head, fin, tails.
The ocean was so brutal on the mechanics. All the pneumatic tubes, all of that special equipment was being dashed and brutalized by the ocean every day.
There were all these radio mics all over the island, the universal radio mics. So wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio mics. And they were always saying, the shark is not working, the shark is not working, repeat, the shark is not working. No matter where you were, and for months.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited.
And I remember every day, about the 50th or 60th day of shooting, the crew would come over to me, and they'd all ask me during the day, when are we going to be done with this movie? And I would honestly say to them, with complete sympathy for the question, I don't know. I don't know when we're going to finish this movie. We could finish it if I get fired and dragged off the movie, then somebody else could come in and finish it quickly. Maybe they'll shut us down.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago and I got right to my head.
And I remember how we got tears in our eyes when we sang the song, Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed, which is sung in the film by the three principals. I remember looking around at Charlesie, the script girl, and other people on the set with tears in their eyes, not because it was a sweet, emotional scene. That had become their mantra. That's all they could think about, was what was home like. And they missed their kids, and they missed their backyards, and they missed their, their families and their lifestyles. And in a sense, that's why I always saw myself in the negative. I saw myself as James Cagney in Mr. Roberts, not letting the shore, the crew, get to shore. Now, by the way, the crew did get to shore. They got to shore every Sunday that we had off. We shot 6-day weeks, but I never left the island. And the reason I never left the island in all those 7 months of shooting on Martha's Vineyard was because if I left the island, I was certain I would never come back.
The delays in the ocean and the fact that we'd been on the island for 4 or 5 months now, we're all getting a little strange. So there was I don't know if it was a charity dinner or not, but there was a function, a splendid buffet of wonderful food.
There was this tremendous buffet of desserts, strawberry shortcake and Boston cream pies and chocolate eclairs and Napoleons and some Jell-O and also gravy and potatoes.
I'd said to Rick Fields, who was Verna Fields' son, I said, suppose there was a food fight. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, just start throwing some food.
Roy started it. Roy threw a big glob of mashed potatoes and gravy right into my face. And before I could recover and throw something at him, Richard Dreyfuss, I think, took his dessert and threw it into Roy's face. Right center, nose, eyes, mouth, the whole thing. Roy turned, he took 2 or 3 desserts, threw them at Richard. Richard ducked, and it hit somebody behind him. And it was a bit of a Three Stooges brawl. I remember Dick and David got up and left right away. They saw it was coming. And in about 30 seconds, we were actually standing, hurling food at each other.
And before, it was a melee after that. Just food all over the floor. All the help that was there serving the dinner, they came out. They laughed like crazy. I don't know if some of the townspeople appreciated it as much as we did, but it was a tremendous blowing off of steam.
And then I remember Richard and Roy, covered in food, running out to the Kelly House swimming pool and diving in the water. And all this once yummy food, like Technicolor silt rising to the surface of this otherwise turquoise pool. And I remember saying, what the heck, and I jumped into and washed myself off. But, I mean, that was what happens in the Navy when you just, aren't given shore leave. Let that be a lesson.
The decision to continue filming Jaws was a very shaky one. Our technical people, what Steven Spielberg was fond of calling our special defects department, wanted us to stop so they could perfect it. Dick and I, battle-scarred veterans of the movie wars, knew that you never take the film out of the camera because they may never let you put it back in, particularly with a movie like this. Even if we got 1/16th of a page of script a day, you kept moving. Stephen at one point considered moving our whole crew to the Bahamas where the waters were tranquil and everything, and we weren't in favor of that. Just keep shooting. Keep shooting and make do with what you've got.
This whole system with the barrels, that kept the shark alive. I mean, when those barrels came up, the shark was there. And that really saved us. It saved us, or we'd still be there waiting for the shark to work, really.
Finally, after all this, I mean, it was maybe September, that we got the shark to raise out of the water. And that was that one shot with the Roy Scheider, And it just barely worked.
Okay. Good blood.
And action, Roy.
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. You ought to come down and ladle some of this shit.
And down. And cut.
And then one day, you heard this. The shark is working. Repeat, the shark is working.
The shark worked well enough that we, for a while there, had the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot more than I want to take away from it right now. And I owe Bob Maddy and his team a lot as well.